Hey guys, welcome to Sinus's Final Fantasy VIII GF only run. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go over the rules here on the title screen just for the beginning video. So if you're already familiar with them, or if I have the FAQ up by the time you read this and you want to check that out, it'll be in the description. Go ahead and do that. And by all means, bypass this part if you'd like. The reason I'm doing this is because it is difficult to do this during the I don't want to do it during the introduction cutscenes because that takes away from them, and I don't want to do it during the game because there's a lot to talk about and it gets a little confusing when I'm trying to do two different things at once. Alright, so the rules. First of all, no attack or limit break commands. The latter can easily break the game and take away all the challenge, and we definitely don't want to do that. And also the attack command, to a lesser extent, can do that if it's junctioned properly and everything. But we're not going to be junctioning anything to our attack stats in this run. And there is only one exception to this rule, and it is only for attacks, not limit breaks. And that occurs in Ultimecia's castle on Disc 4, because when you arrive there, she locks all of your abilities except for attack. So we're going to have to take down the first boss with attacks only, and then unlock other stuff that is actually useful to us. Rule number 2, no draw or magic commands. Now, in the strictest interpretation, it is canon for GFs to give you these two active abilities, but in order to make this a more interesting run and one that I think is more reliant on the GFs, we're going to bypass that entirely. So for the purposes of this run, no magic, no drawing magic, no casting magic, no junctioning magic, and no draw casting. So those are not even going to appear on my command menu. So there's going to be no temptation to use those at all. So what this is going to do is this is going to displace a lot of the time that would be spent drawing and junctioning and stuff, and put it into battles where GF animations are going to play. One unexpected benefit to this is that, again, in Ultimecia's castle, we won't have to unlock these two commands. Rule number 3 is that the GF and learned GF active and passive abilities will be required to complete the run. Actually, only GF active abilities are required, but I'm going to run the passive ones, just because this is kind of a pilot run. To the best of my knowledge, nobody has done this before, so I'm going to allow it and use it to optimize a little bit. So what does this mean? First of all, you can use the summoning animation, which is going to be the main source of damage, but you can also use some of the active abilities, like Revive and Recover are going to be big when I finally get those. But any of them that affect physical attacks, like Mad Rush or Counter or Dark Side, those are going to be not allowed. Again, in the strictest interpretation, Mug is not allowed either. But I am going to use Mug during the run just to keep it entertaining and to keep it moving, but I am 99% sure that Mug is not required to complete this run. Again, this is for entertainment and a little bit of speed to keep the videos a little bit shorter, to keep my save file a little cleaner, all that kind of stuff. But again, it's by no means required. So, what this is going to do in this run is we're going to prioritize some learned GF abilities differently than we would in a casual run. Things like Summon Magic Plus and GF HP Plus tend to be some of the last things that you tend to get, might be some of the first ones, because you need the extra boost in attack effectiveness in order to complete a lot of the earlier bosses. Lastly, passive abilities, those are going to come in handy because we have no means of junctioning to our HP or anything, so we're going to get these passive abilities like HP Plus, as well as the bonuses. The bonuses provide additional stat gains for your character at level up. And yes, you could do an extreme amount of optimization with that in order to make the run easier, but I'm hoping that that is not going to be required. So just when I get them, I'll use them. Lastly, again, I don't think that this would be required, but it would be a really long run. I'm going to allow the item command for my own sanity, and if I ever, have a masochist couple weeks to try and grind that out, I might try without the item command, but for the purpose of this run, we're going to use it just to make sure everything is possible. But I am going to put a limitation on this. Only healing and support items are allowed, no attacking items, because then you could just use magic with stones and stuff like that. So and you'd have to over level and stuff a lot too. The good thing is we're also going to use a lot of items that you normally wouldn't see, like the GF healing and reviving items are going to be key in this run, and normally they do not play much of a role at all. So some quality of life rules. Again, I'm allowing mug, and I'm also allowing playing card games. So a lot of card mods and stuff going on. I think you could cut out cards entirely, which would save you a good bit of time and a little bit of headache and everything. But it would make the game a little bit harder, and if you prohibited both cards and mug, you would not be able to get Doom Train, which is a very good GF for inflicting status effects, which is one that I really want. So I'm going to use both cards and mug to make sure that I get a hold of Doom Train whenever I can. You could also, again, disable GF passive abilities, which would make it a little bit more difficult. Let's see, you could do level and character limitations like a low-level game, but that just seems like it would make it a lot harder, or possibly, or maybe even impossible to complete. I'm also going to try not to escape very much, with the exception of the robot fight that is in the seed exam. So we're also disabling use of Chocobo World or Chocobo World items. Most people don't do that, but all right, let's let the cutscene play and get this thing started. Alrighty, here we go. One thing you're going to notice probably is that I am playing the Steam version of Final Fantasy VIII. It's going to be the easiest one for me to record. Unfortunately, that means we're going to take some hits in the audio department, which is kind of sucky. They did that with Final Fantasy VII when they put it on Steam too. They left the original MIDI, which is just a bastardization to the game. But what are you going to do? I mean, there are some mods for this. I think it's like Roses and Wine or something like that. But you know, I heavily modded my Final Fantasy VII install. And I just didn't want to deal with it for this one unless it was a super improvement like Final Fantasy VII was. So, I kind of think that this is one of the most misunderstood Final Fantasy installments. A lot of people don't like this one, but to that I also say it's a somewhat original story. Granted, it is not super grounded in real life like Final Fantasy XV is supposed to be. But you know, it's about kids being mercenaries and stuff like that. Lots of time travel, and sometimes sorry, chimes got in my way there. Sometimes people just don't like things that they don't understand, and I got my own interpretation of the ending, which I'll reveal in the very last video. But you know, I made sense of it, and it makes a lot of sense to me. And I did really, really like this installment. First two GFs here, Quetzalcoatl and Shiva. Dogs went crazy. So I've decided I'm going to wait to do a lot of the menu junk until I meet Quistis down at the gate. Also going to choose a lot of options that let me get from here to there as quickly as possible, which often means being a douche. So, yeah, Selphie needs an eye dog. There we got our first deck of cards. sure that guy actually does play lots of cards and would whip us if we played him right now, so he's kind of locked out. I'm not going to try and manipulate anything by trying to get mini-mog early. There's really no point to get it quite so early when I get the Ifrit card for free. So there we just picked up a magazine that is worth probably the most money of any single item in the game. So that's going to help with stocking up on items before too long. I didn't save there, just because I'm going to have plenty of opportunities on the world map to do that right before the fire cavern. To skip those tutorials, but I know it is possible in the Steam version here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take get a few AP towards boost, maybe get all of them towards boost before we move on. And I forgot to change my options, so the battle's going to run a little slow. That's okay for the first one. So whenever my action turns blue, that means okay, those are all taken care of, and we'll just hang out in the fire cave, get some more AP. Let's see, I deliberately put Quetzalcoatl on Squall, because every time you summon a GF, there's a stat called compatibility that Quetzalcoatl is on Squall is because there is a fight later on in which, you know, if Quetzalcoatl is a high enough level and compatibility is really good, actually get a lot of extra, which is something that I'm going to try. No damage, but it still does raise compatibility with quickness. It is only 10 AP to learn feasibly the best skill for this run, which is boost. I'm actually playing with an Afterglow Xbox controller. It's a really neat controller, feels good, hands, lights up pretty, all that kind of stuff. But unfortunately, the button presses in this game are not as crisp and responsive as I would like them to be for boosting. So I actually did a little bit of this run off camera, just to see, you know, if it was going to be crazy in the beginning. And I decided that I might as well put it on YouTube. So if anybody ever decides to follow this guide or anything, they'll have an extra little reference. Where I was going with that, though, when I did the fire path, I got into 3 random battles, and then got to fight Ifrit, and going as fast as I possibly could and boosting consistently, I got done with 45 seconds left on the clock, which makes this fairly exciting outing for me. I mean, I'm sure if you tried, you could, and you were playing a casual playthrough, you could probably get that down a lot. Maybe even redone with like 5 minutes left or something. But this run is about being interesting, about being challenging. more battles should give us a boost then. Set the ATB to wait here. I'm gonna back attack one of my bugs, didn't get a turn, like it attacked me before I could finish it, which is really silly. And I'm gonna be doing that a lot throughout the run, so there's no need to make this super duper hard. So I don't need any junction abilities, I don't need magic plus, so I guess I could start on card, but for the purpose of the AP trick that I'm going to try and get, summon magic's probably best. I forgot that that's full. There we go. I'll just save before we go in the fire cavern. So definitely still possible to do this in 10 minutes, even on a GF only run. What would be helpful though, if you want to get a really good score for your seed ranking, which of course awards more money and everything, is to bring a calculator along. Because we can't scan monsters or bosses or anything. So Ifrit here, the closer we are to the 0 mark, the better judgment score we get. There you see the summon. I could command the summon sheet before I put it in, but because it's not first. Timer when it's over. So 0 to 7 seconds is a score of 100. 7 to 30 seconds is a score of 90. And 30 seconds to a minute is a score of 80. And it shouldn't be any harder than that. Or shouldn't be any more difficult to but you need to know that Ifrit has 1,068 HP, I think. I totally forgot that I was allowed to boost last random encounter there, so we'll make sure we do it this time. amount that you boost, and it's that number as a percentage times what the original attack would do in order to get what the new damage is. Whenever the little red X shows up over the hand there, if you press the square button while that's there, though, it resets down to 75, so you have to on the Steam tell when it's coming. On the Steam version, you get much less of a warning. So you get to end up being a little bit more conservative with your boosting. gonna have to wait until 50 seconds, closer to 40 even, to get that to work right. Probably heal Squall, but I don't really care if he dies. So we're gonna go back to garden here. Balam Garden, that's called. This is where we started. It's kind of like the mercenary training I'm avoiding walking in the forest. It's kind of a low risk, but there is a possibility that you could run into a T-Rexar, which would just totally take a dump on my entire day. So we're not going to do that. Quistis is gonna have like her 4th damn lecture here. now we're going to go into the lobby here, and we're going to finish up the run with some cards, a map, and a uniform change. Or rather, going to finish up the video. The run is very far from over. I might still be able to catch him before he gets around. And I've given up all illusion of trying to make my re-records look nice or anything like that. Suffice it to say that the card games have been going terribly. The kid doesn't play the card almost ever. It's been infuriating. Just to try and keep this video to a reasonable length. I would really just like it if you would play this card so that I could move on with my life. That's not what this run is supposed to be about. There it is. I just need a halfway decent game in order to win this stupid card. There's no way he's getting it. Turn back over at least. There we go. It's finally mine, and we can finally move on. I must have spent at least an hour getting that to work correctly. That was terrible. That is the worst it has ever been in any run, any casual playthrough that I've ever done. And I need like a new RNG god or something. Anyway, even more so than having a good card to play with, the Minimog card is involved in the Queen of Cards trading quest, or whatever it is you want to call it. It's a card quest. Travel around, get cards, that kind of stuff. And it does mod into like 100 pet houses, which are like tents for GFs, basically. Which I can feasibly see myself using this run. Maybe not all 100 of them, but a good chunk of them. I love how he always wipes his hand off before he offers to shake with somebody. It's funny, the parking garage is actually the opposite direction from where we came in. Some of the one-liners are real signals in this game. And I'm just going to try and find a save point. Of course, I'm not going to get one until we're out in the middle of the exam, which is not a great idea. But that is the price of entertainment. Talking to different people and stuff is no bueno for your seed ranking and stuff. The test had actually started once I had gotten in the vehicle. You're supposed to, follow orders, stay shut up, and not act out of the ordinary, basically. I have no doubt that I will screw something up, for sure. It is bound to happen. This run is a little bit more about entertainment and maybe laughing at my mistakes than it is about doing everything perfectly. Cypher is in charge, and I do have to follow his orders. So yeah, did pretty much as good as I could do there, at least. And it's all downhill from there. This is a neat cutscene. I like it. And I like this track when it's not butchered by MIDI. stay tuned for the second video, which will be the seed exam, which will undoubtedly be exciting. And we got the trick to earn lots of extra AP by defeating the robot. It's like XATMO something something. So yeah, we're gonna try and rock that out. I may defeat some enemies off screen, I don't know. It's kind of hard during the seed exam because I think going back on the screens ruins your score. Anyway, more of that to be talked about next video. So hang in there. Looks to be a good run. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.